Good morning, YouTube. Um, Got to chime in on this guy, Snowden. Very interesting cat. Me personally, just get it out the way. I think the guy is a hero. I can't speak for most Americans. You can only go by what's on the mainstream media and all that good business. But here's what I find most interesting. When you look around the world and you see posters of this guy, and they're not Muslim countries who are talking about don't extradite, and you got all these countries. And Hong Kong is still a subsidiary of China, so for him to, the rumor is that he's flown to Moscow and things of that nature. And if it's true, more than likely China approved it. Remember Barack Obama just met with I think the Chinese leader probably a month ago, and they had to approve it. Then there's some rumor that he's being flown to Moscow. We don't know if it's true or not, but we'll find out maybe in a week. Obviously, the American government wants to kill him. I mean, they do. And whenever you speak against the government, you're a terrorist. So, it's so interesting. But the really the component that I want to speak on is the narcissism of Americans. And if you don't know what narcissism is, please look it up, and you will find that it will describe the mentality of most people that you probably know. Even you yourself may be a narcissist. When you look at these signs and people are saying, not, don't extradite him, he's a hero, things that look at all these countries. They're non-Muslims. These are people who are supposed to be our allies, our quote unquote allies. Not like the Western allies like France and Britain who will pimp and whore out themselves to the Americans because they're so afraid of us or whatever, or they think they're going to get some moral rights or something like that. Um, but a lot of these countries, Hong Kong and Ecuador and other countries, they hate Americans. And Americans tend to believe that everyone wants to be like us. You know, everyone loves us. Everyone wants to come here. They want our form of democracy. And if they criticize us, it's because they're jealous of us. America, you have to understand what America signifies to people around the world. It signifies a place that where you can come and every fantasy and everything that the human body can experience, as in pleasure and self gratification, that this is the country where you can have it. This is the place where it is unlimited of the things that you can do relative to um, gratification of the flesh. Now, if you understand, everyone's a human being. It doesn't matter whether they're Muslim or not. And so many people love to come here because they get to live out every possible fantasy that you could imagine relative to gratifying oneself. It is the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And so it appeals to everyone else in the world because it appeals to the absolute worst in us. That's right. That's the reason people love America. It's not because we have some virtue or something like that. Like a lot of with these patriots, they call themselves patriots. And I'm not saying there's no patriots here who believe in the Constitution, because obviously there are a lot. But the vast majority of Americans are so narcissistic that they actually believe that they love us because of our goodness, because of our spreading of democracy. There are countries that if you went down the chain, when you start talking about education and you start talking, if you have certain parameters that you look at and to make a decision whether or not you want to live in this country or if you think it's a great place to live, that's way better than living in the United States. But a lot of people who probably have never gone to another country or still believing this nonsense that the media is spitting out about America being the greatest country in the world, these people obviously have no criteria. They just, as long as you can just keep, like what Chris Rock says, you just keep screaming America, America, America. If you just keep screaming that and you have a low level of intelligence, yeah, you think this is the greatest country in the world. But I'm interested in what you think about that. And again, get a chance to look up narcissism, and you'll realize that most of the people around you are narcissists, and even you yourself may be a narcissist. So, what Paul said in the Bible, examine yourself and see if you are. In the Bible, it says examine yourself to see if you're of the faith, but I'm asking you to examine yourself to see if you are indeed a narcissist. So, chime in. I'm interested in your comments about the Snowden guy. I happen to like him. He lost his life, $200,000 salary. His girlfriend, they of course they're going to pick him apart. It'd be just like me or anyone else. If you're looking for a person who is perfect, and again, this buys into the narcissism of Americans. Americans realize that there are no perfect people. They realize this intuitively. But they're so narcissistic that a man can have many faults and he can come forward and try to help the American people. But they're so narcissistic that the media can put forth that his girlfriend's a stripper or he likes to watch porn or something like that. They didn't say that, but I'm saying, let's just say that. Let's say he likes to play Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. Americans, oh God, he's so terrible. You know the reason they say that? Is because they have to think very highly of themselves. There is no perfect person that if they decide that they're going to try to do the right thing to settle their conscience, if you're looking for a perfect person, you're not going to find them. You're not that way. And so what America does is that they scare the hell out of everyone else by if you come forward and you start speaking truth, they'll start talking about, you got one foot that's bigger than another, or you live in a rural place and you don't even have running water or something. I mean, they'll say this, and then you got Americans that, oh gosh, he doesn't have running water. He must be lying about what it is that he's saying. And so don't be afraid of the government per se. Be afraid of other American citizens, because they're the ones who are going to help implement the government policy of spying on your neighbor and mass incarceration. They're the ones who are going to help the government enforce these laws. The government is people. Remember that. The government is force. So the government is not some entity out there that doesn't have working parts. And the working parts are your fellow Americans. Be afraid of them.